podcast where we try to explain science fiction with some amount of science fact. I am Simon Kozik.
And I'm Geoff Conrad.
So, Geoff, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about Battlestar Galactica, the hard sci-fi television show that everyone loves, except for the ending. No one likes the ending.
Yeah, I couldn't make it past episode 3. So what are the problems we have to handle?
Okay, well, there are a few. One, namely, the cylons, and the various iterations of cylons.
So cylons,
yeah,
sorry, they're like the big one-eyed robots.
The big clanky toaster robots, or
they're
and
chunkers.
Spoiler alert, everybody. Also, the people-shaped cylons that are made out of organic and meat things.
Yeah, like T-100s.
Yeah, or any of the actual. There's a number of them that I don't remember. Like 5 or something.
Oh, I thought you were gonna. Oh, you were about to say the actual human robots. I was gonna be like,
the actual human robots. You know, the actors.
Cool. So, I mean, I feel like that falls into 2 categories. One of which...
well, you haven't watched most of the series. It kind of unfolds, also.
I mean, robots fall into 2 categories. Those
robots, just in general.
Yeah. I mean, those 2.
The metal and the meat robots?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's one thing to create a really smart robot.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing to create a human-like exoskeleton.
Which isn't necessarily what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, then, what is it? You gotta...
like they're people.
Okay.
But, kind of have a collective consciousness and can kind of upload and download their, selves.
So think of them more like organic computers rather than your normal automata.
Right. And then, we'll unpack that when we get there.
Okay. Well, so do we have a solution to robots?
I mean, that one's kind of straightforward with robots. It's the inevitable future. We make AI, and then they realize that we are inefficient.
Okay. I mean, so the problem I always have with AI rising up, like Skynet, all that kind of thing, is it has to happen where the robot has a reason to not like people. So, well,
it's not that they don't like people. It's that the things that people need to exist do not factor into what they're trying to do. Like, maintaining atmosphere on the planet does not help a paperclip maximizing AI. So why would it bother?
So this is just a single directive that went wrong.
I mean,
that's my problem.
I don't know if the motives of why the Cylons are trying to exterminate humanity are explored, at the end of the series that I stopped watching. So, I think they, in the show, are trying to, ascend, they're better than their creators or something. Man, people are going to love this episode.
But, I feel like that's not how an artificial intelligence would react. I mean, unless it was a sufficiently primitive intelligence that it was still bound by its original programming, it's not going to care about humanity. Any more than
the robot flavored Cylons.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's my only beef with anything that has a robot that goes rogue is why does it care? I mean, in like the Forbin project, it makes sense. Its only directive is to stop all war, and it's a primitive machine that just has access to literally all human capability.
Mm-hmm.
It's not smarter, it just is more connected and powerful. That's why I really like that as a science fiction robotic enemy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, you're right. Maybe the Cylons are like, I don't know, they were created to stop global warming, and they were like, only way to do that is to kill all people.
Yeah, that is a logical conclusion they could make, I guess.
So I guess we just don't have enough knowledge. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, like, for the motivations on why they
I felt
that. Like,
I felt it needed to be brought up. Whenever you deal with these things. So
yeah, and then that's just any robot apocalypse, really.
Yeah, but like, you have to give them a reason. Skynet doesn't make any sense.
Do you have to give them a reason though?
I think so.
They're trying to maximize their score.
What is their score? Like, why hasn't humanity just ripped apart the world?
Well, now we're getting into like AI research ethics, though. Like,
but so are you saying that someone created that's different to me? If someone creates a purposefully malicious AI, and that might be what it is. It's not that
it's necessarily purposely malicious so much as the AI have figured a way to maximize whatever they're trying to do, and part of that is the extermination of people.
Yeah, I agree. You have to frame it that way. But when you do that, it has to be a primitive artificial intelligence that isn't sentient, because it's still bound by whatever previous
the programming
it had,
like, was guiding its machine learning.
Yeah, it can't. Yeah, because I feel like it's probably easier to not kill all of humanity than it is to do other things. Unless you're looking for like minutia,
and that's just bad with that in mind, it's just is like something that wasn't considered when the like programming was set in place.
That's true. You know? It could be.
Again, like, this is then opening up the entire realm of ethics in AI research.
That's true. All right. Humanoid.
So the meat cylons,
meat puppets,
the humanoid cylons.
Gross.
Yeah. So, how far did you get? Like, what do you know?
When I know
humanoid cylons.
I know that there's a lady in a red dress, and she can communicate telepathically with a dude with really long hair and just a bad haircut, and that's pretty much all I remember.
Yeah, so that, I'm sure, has an explanation in and of itself. Hey, maybe something we can get into in this podcast. Why was she able to telepathically communicate with Cyrus?
Bad hair.
His name was
long hair. That's a tough one, because do they ever cut open one of their brains and show that it's organic and mushy?
Yeah, they're
like, human. They're biologically
human.
They
are like indiscernible from people.
Tough.
Basically.
Well, they're indiscernible from humans?
There was
by what means?
Like, you can't metal detect them if you like do an autopsy of them. I think, if I recall properly, they were just like people.
Okay. This is why I don't like lore. It lore destroys the science part of science fiction. It's like saying lightsabers are plasma. It doesn't. That weakens your argument. By saying these things are that indiscernible that an autopsy doesn't pick up on it, that is not easily explainable. Because how I would do it would be that within these humans, like, they're human. They're all human. However, their collective consciousness comes from, I would say, probably an aluminum or other non-magnetic metal antenna in their brain that allows them to share thoughts and broadcast thoughts like a radio.
So yeah, that would be because it's not a collective consciousness like
a bee,
like a normal like science fiction collective consciousness.
Okay.
They each model has like a pool of information that they can pull from, that they upload and download from. So, which again, that is you do explain why, how they would up and download that information with that.
And actually, even that way, you could pre-build a human that had that in its brain, had that information in its brain. But then, how do you update it? That's the problem.
How do you mean by update?
So when you make the person and you put it, mess around with the brain, and you go, okay, you now know all this stuff.
Oh, so how would they, how would the brain handle getting new information?
Yeah, essentially, not only handle, but how would it physically receive new information? And it has to be an antenna. And I mean, technically you could do this with a sufficiently advanced radio. But that seems difficult. So if you had some other way, organic way of creating an antenna, that would work too.
All right, that's fair.
I don't know if that's possible. I don't think it is.
Not to my knowledge, but
yeah, I don't know. I wonder if neurons are affected by electromagnetic spectra. I doubt it is. So never mind. I'm gonna go.
I don't know.
Very thin aluminum, or actually. Yeah, I'm going to go very thin aluminum.
A layer of aluminum between the skull and the brain.
Well, not even that. It's I'm thinking aluminum wire, because that won't set off a lot of metal detectors. It will set off some. But because it's non-magnetic, it's a little bit undetectable. It's the best I have. That's a tough problem. Boy.
Yeah. And then I guess if you want to further unpack the meat cylons, them being able to reproduce with actual people.
So that actually, I mean, I'm fine with that. Oh wait, are the offspring also part Cylon?
I do not know if they're part Cylon, but there is proper genetic recombination happening to make a mostly human child.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that these are organically people. So you think they're more cloned than built? Yes.
Okay.
And all they've done is installed something in the brain that allows them to be controlled and give them all their weird dreamlike.
Well, they're not
telepathy.
Controlled. They're just off doing their thing.
Geoff, I don't know.
They're that's the thing. They have for
free will.
All intents and purposes
human.
Individual discrete entities.
Why are they Cylon then?
Because that's what the Cylons did. They made meat cylons.
So that sounds the most like that sounds the best like idea for a cylon. That is clearly a bug in their system where they're like, we gotta try it a new way. Let's make human cylons. I like that.
The human cylons will be able to kill all the humans.
Exactly.
We'll only have a couple of humans that are also just cylons.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah. It makes total sense.
You got it. You nailed it.
Yeah.
We cracked the whole cylon
controversy.
Like motivation.
Oh, okay, that works better. What else? What else we got in this treasure trove?
Yes, the other main thing is artificial gravity on like every kind of spaceship.
But without, this is the crazy thing, without spinning structures. Because that's how...
Mostly. I think there's like one or two that do have spinning structures. But like the Galactica itself is just like a normal ship.
Yeah. So that's what's weird. Because that's Stanley Kubrick's whole 2001 Space Odyssey like big thing.
Solution.
Yeah. It's a big spinning wheel.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard one. What if they're all wearing magnets?
Well, I suppose that could be a solution, but I don't think they are.
What if they have magnets implanted in their body? Like,
and people just have like magnet feet now?
But great idea.
Magnet feet.
Yeah.
Solved. Well, but then there's like all of everything else that exists on all of the ships. Like paper that are not made out of magnets.
Oh man, I had a great idea. Because I was going to say, like, what if they had like metal bones? And that's why they're indistinguishable from Cylons with metal in their brain. Because people are like, oh, that's just the metal.
People in this show have metal bones.
Yeah, because like they have to space travel. That's a toughie. That is a real toughie.
Well, yeah, the other part being there's like a lot of stuff in those ships also that are not floating around. Are not made out of metal bones.
What if they have constantly circulating air downwards? So, like, it's a constant pressure.
In space, which is down. Yeah. That's the problem.
But like, down relative... Because you only have to do it in a spaceship. So, what if there's, like, just a big fan and a whole bunch of vents that just are across the whole spaceship, and it just circulates air, and the air is always pushing from ceiling to floor, and they're kept down.
Like, that is a real powerful system to make that happen.
I mean, what if it's not a fan? What if it's like a jet engine? But a lot of them.
I don't know how well people will deal with being that close to a jet engine.
Also, the whole exhaust thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious bad solution to this is that a sufficiently advanced civilization has figured out a way of
I mean, that is the solution to the podcast. We have solved it.
Let me finish.
And often they're not sufficiently advanced. Like, they're using like radios and like hardwired computers.
Geoff, you're not making this easier for me.
You're the one who wanted to do hard sci-fi on this one.
Okay, I have an idea.
Okay.
They are able to distort the Higgs boson to create artificial... That doesn't work. It doesn't matter because that's not how the world works. They can affect gravitons. I'm going back to gravitons.
Wait, why do all of your things come back to like gravitons and relic particles
and graviolis? I don't know. It's because there's because people make bad lore. That's why. I like
Okay, I'll give you that. People do make bad.
I like magnets. I'm gonna go magnets. I'm gonna say everything, including food,
Everything is magnetic.
has a small amount of metal. Yeah,
including food, unless it's being actively digested.
Yep.
Because that will mess things up in people.
Well, no, I mean, it doesn't mess people like gravity doesn't mess up the food in your body nowadays. Now.
Both of those work. Both nowadays and now.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's constantly being pulled down, you can digest it. You can digest, and yeah, you're fine. You're good. I mean, obviously you have like oh, wait. Are you talking about the fact that you
just also evolve to handle the magnetism of the food?
Oh, I thought you were referring to the fact that if everything had little bits of metal in it, you have to then digest metal.
Yeah. No, you just pass the metal. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's how they recycle it. That's the thing.
But I mean, like, if it's all magnetic, then like all of your intestines will get so bound up.
I don't think it will.
As it like magnetizes to
like your watch,
like all the food in various points of digestion.
I'm not saying that the food is magnetic. I'm saying that the food contains small bits of metal, and the floor is magnetic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just ferrous metal in the food.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes much more sense.
Yeah. I'm going with that. That's my final
final answer.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
We never addressed that with Star Wars. That appears in Star Wars too.
That's every sci-fi space show.
Yeah. I don't know. Gravitons, graviolis.
It's all relic particles.
Yeah. They just a civilization that has traveled enough has found relic particles or created them. Either or.
Okay.
What if it's like radiation pressure? Like, what if they actually have like blinding?
Like they just have like radios.
Yeah.
And just full blast all the time.
Yeah.
Just sound waves pushing people down.
That would hurt your ears and probably shake you.
Probably.
But if you had like sufficiently powerful enough radios that just were the entire ceiling of your spaceship and it just pushed down all the time. I mean, you have other...
I feel like the side effects of any of that would be detrimental to the human body.
Probably. I mean, how long do these people live?
Well, a long time. Like a real long time. Like people length of time.
Oh. Well, okay.
Oh, human lifespans. I'm done. I got nothing.
But like, no, human lifespans while you're being bathed in powerful enough radiation to push you into the ground, not likely.
Yeah.
I do like the idea that their lights, like, they don't have gravity, they just have really powerful light bulbs. I'm ready to move on. That's
okay. Are you sure? Because we were about to, and then you just like veered right back.
That's because I got another phenomenal idea.
All right.
Do you have an?
I guess the last one I got, I was really kind of reaching for. That's the Viper pilots with their just like breakneck high-speed maneuvers.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like, G-forces still affect people.
Oh, yeah. But, like, yeah, we addressed this earlier in the Star Wars episode, where we were talking about the fact that, yeah, like, people have a problem with spaceships making sharp turns without air.
Mm-hmm.
And, in fact, without, like, air-based maneuvering, sharp turns become even easier to make.
Well, and it's not that it's hard making them, it's that like there are people still subjected to like the acceleration.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's how fake gravity works. Is it's a G-force applied to you from making a constant sharp turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's totally normal.
Well, yeah. Well, and again, I was kind of reaching on this one because I don't know how many Gs they would have been subjected to because, I mean, the shots aren't long enough for me to figure out the maths.
Technically...
Nor is there anything for scale to figure out the maths.
I mean, if they're making the same maneuvers that fighter pilots do on Earth, they'd have the same amount of G-force.
Like similar...
Yeah.
Well, and it'd be like similar mechanisms to not turn into mush at the bottom of the cockpit.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably have like flight suits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did have one question because, and this I was about to bring up to you, but I wanted to spring it on you and make you look like an idiot.
Oh, that one's easy. Don't you worry.
So the little research I did talked about like this show doing like a good job of like psychological problems that arise with long-term space travel. What do you remember of the show of them addressing that?
I mean, that was just like everything that the show is. Like, people in close proximity start getting aggravated or into each other.
Well, so here's the problem I have with that. Why has this is a civilization that has been able to invent artificial intelligence, so it has a grasp on the human psyche. Why haven't they developed good, like, the things we have now to avoid the problems, the psychological problems that arise from space travel? Do we have, like, why is that?
Do we have them?
We do. We totally do. We've been like planning for the psychological problems of long-term like Mars-based travel for a long time, because a lot of it is just like, let's give people stuff to do. But like, do you see like video games in Battlestar Galactica?
A lot of it happens on a military vessel, so not so much.
See, I think that is wrong. Even military vessels they're going to suffer the same strain on their psyche.
Like, people will still need downtime.
Yeah, and they still need something to do that is both social and not social. No one wants to always be around people. No one.
Right.
And so, like, I guess they could read, but you want a diversity of activity. So, like, they should have, like, squash courts and, like,
well, again,
VR.
It's, like, there's all of the civilian ships that do have things. Like, there's one that is, like, just a big park.
That seems awesome.
But, yeah, right?
That's a ship I want to live on.
The Galactica, though, like, is a military vessel. So they don't have, like, all the recreation. Like, they don't have room for a squash court.
You have a spaceship. You don't have room for a squash. Like, squash doesn't even... It's half the space of tennis.
Yeah. Do you know how many guns they can fit in a squash court?
Probably less than one.
Less than one gun.
Oh, I mean, are you saying like handgun?
How big is
or are you
this
saying
gun?
Like cannons? Because I'm thinking like naval cannons. You can fit like a naval cannon in a squash court.
A lot of the
maybe
guns
more.
Aren't.
I'm gonna say
you
3
can
naval
fit
cannons at most.
More than one naval cannon, but a lot of the guns
are big.
Like a lot of them are on like the fighters, so they're not small, but they're not big naval cannons.
I guess
or maybe
so.
that's just where they keep the nuke. They keep the nuke in the squash court.
And that's why no one plays squash for all of Battlestar, because they're worried.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Like, okay. Do the military personnel ever go on leave to?
Yes, they do get leave to
good.
the civilian ships.
Okay,
yes.
Because I was going to say, like, on top of I'm stuck with the same people all the time, no sunlight, this is boring. Also, I have to be a soldier 24/7. That is like, you are baking PTSD into your...
Oh, yeah, you super are.
Yeah, like, that sucks. That's a bad way to run space colonies.
Well, they're also not a space colony. They are a ragtag fleet of ships that survived.
Oh, that's right. They're like refugees, but like they have ships that were supposed to be used for colonization, and they, I assume,
not for colonization. They're for like cruising around the colonies or like traveling from one to another.
I mean, still, you want like something in place for long-term travel. I'm assuming they're not like zipping between galaxies. Like, it's an 8-minute drive.
It's not like zipping between galaxies, but it's like, I mean, it's not like an enormous amount of time that you would need.
Like, do you know how far apart galaxies are?
I believe the colonies
are within the same solar system.
I don't know if it's within the same solar system, but they weren't like half a universe apart.
They don't have to be. Like, Andromeda is several light years away from us. Andromeda?
Well, I mean, are we getting into the
FTL? You have to get into FTL.
Travel of...
I'll let you talk.
They, for FTL, that, like they do explain, it's folding space, basically.
Oh, so like what we were talking about with Star Wars. That makes sense.
Yeah, so like they see, okay, like where we're trying to go is 5 light years away. This is the information we have from 5 years ago. We need to do the math to see where, planets are now.
Yeah, so we're
not jump into one of them.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I agree with this. Not having a squash court, though. Dude,
No, they do. That's just where they keep the nukes. Come on.
I mean, I think that's fair. I think we did a good job on this episode, really. But
I think they got us most of the way there for some of them.
That's true. I mean, Battlestar Galactica is known for being good hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be what it. Sometimes they're gonna, you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away.
Casually die in the middle of a song.
Yeah, yeah. Casually die in the middle of a song. That's written in there. All right. Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Thanks for hanging in there for that squash conversation. I really appreciate it.
I still think episode 2 is our best one yet. That was phenomenal.
You should go back and re-listen to it.
Re-download. You know what?
Really, definitely re-download.
Yeah, re-download all of these, and then create ghost accounts and leave more than one comment.
Or instead of maybe breaking,
rate us too.
Some EULAs. Tell a friend.
Oh yeah.
Tell them about. Listen to these fools talk.
Yeah, find that pedantic friend that you have, like I did, and be like, hey, you might like this.
Hey, that's me.
Do you like minutia that no one else cares about? Here you go.
We have a podcast for you.
Do you like?
You can yell at your phone all day.
What's the line? Nothing makes you feel more like a ghost than listening to people talk about stuff on a podcast.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, it really does. It's a tough thing to listen to. It's a lot of people just screaming at
retroactively, sorry for everyone who has watched all of Battlestar Galactica.
and knows
And
how it
to
ends.
everyone who remembers the parts that I don't.
Yes. Congratulations. Oh, and our music.
Feel free to leave comments.
Yeah, yes. Rate, subscribe, tell a friend. Our music is by Joe Sopchak.
If this makes it in, goodbye.